There's a strong chance now that Arsenal could dominate for the next couple of years, looking at the state of other Premier League managers and their squads. The biggest threat to this current Arsenal team is Manchester City and Pep Guardiola. But in recent years, Man City have dominated, absolutely dominated, until the last 2 years where it hasn't gone to plan. And now there is rumours that Pep Guardiola could leave at the end of the season. And when you put that with recent performances, drawing to Sunderland, drawing to Brighton, drawing to Chelsea, losing to Manchester United, losing to Bodo Glimt, 2 wins in their last 7 games. Last year, they went on a run where they didn't win a game in like 8 games. So this isn't a uncommon thing. This has happened twice now in recent years with City. I look at Liverpool, very, very good squad, but do have some aging players that are going to leave in the next year or two, in Virgil van Dijk, in Mohamed Salah. Alisson's getting on a little bit as well. Robertson's getting on as well. The spine needs to be rebuilt. They've got Florian Wirtz. They've got Alexander Isak. Aston Villa, I don't think, have the sufficient squad depth to really dominate. They've got a very good squad, but in terms of their actual depth outside of the 11, it's very good, but it's not at the levels of Liverpool, Arsenal, or Manchester City. Chelsea at this moment in time, their model seems to be buying players and selling them on for a profit, younger players that they can develop. Spurs, we're miles off of it. Miles off of it. We had a good win last night against Dortmund, but collectively as a team, we don't have anywhere near the quality of the top 2 at the Premier League. And then you've got Manchester United, who have chop and change managers quite frequently. And then you leave Arsenal. Now, if Arsenal win the Premier League this season, Mikel Arteta, according to reports, has been rumoured to sign a new contract at Arsenal. If Guardiola leaves, who challenges Manchester City with absolute certainty next season? Sorry, who challenges Arsenal with absolute certainty? Because, yes, I believe that Man City have got a very good squad. But do they have the mentality to go and win another league title? I don't believe this current squad has that. I'll be honest with you. They've got a good squad, very, very good squad with some world-class players. Recently, Foden, Haaland, Rodri, a little bit inconsistent, chop and changing 11s, losing away to Bodo Glimt. Everything right now kind of is leaning towards Manchester City not necessarily winning trophies this season. We're going to break it down. We're going to look at the Premier League. We're going to look at the Champions League. Make sure you go down and drop a like on the video if you haven't already. The road to 100,000 subscribers is well and truly on, and 92% of you who watch the content every single day have not hit that subscribe button. So please go down. We are just under 500 away from 88,000, which genuinely is absolutely obscene. The road to 100K is well and truly on. Get over to the second channel and show that some support as well. Now, Arsenal last night went out there and beat current top of the league, Serie A, last year's Champions League finalists, Inter Milan. And they did it with a team that didn't have Gabriel in the starting 11, that didn't have Declan Rice in the starting 11, which didn't have Martin Odegaard, which didn't have Victor Gyökeres. Yes, they were in and around the squad, which didn't have their main left-back, Calafiori. They went out there and won. And that is for me, is a sign that mentality is changing at Arsenal. You know, you can have the debates all you want about the need a left winger. You can have the debates all you want about Saka hasn't scored in 10 games. Whatever. Eze, Zubimendi, Marino, Norgard, Declan Rice, Martin Odegaard is a stacked midfield. Timber, Saliba, Mosquera, Lewis Skelly, Calafiori, Ben White, Gabriel, Nkapie is the best choice of defenders in Europe. It's the best defense in Europe. 2 goals conceded and 20 goals scored in 7 games. David Raya at the moment is as good as any goalkeeper out there. And then you look at wide players, that's potentially the only area of the pitch you could say, right, they need something else. But this year in the Champions League, they've beaten Inter Milan, they've beaten Atletico Madrid, they've beaten Bayern Munich. You know, in the Premier League, they've lost 2 of 33 games. This looks like a team right now that are capable of winning major honours this season. It looks like, to be honest with you, Is it crazy to say that Arsenal are Champions League favourites? Is it crazy to say that Arsenal are League Cup and Premier League favourites? As I repeat, they've lost 2 of 33 games. Man City have lost 2 games in the last 7 days, in the last 4 days, 5 days. So there are a lot of things right now about this Arsenal team that are going right, and you look at their in the Premier League, look at that. 40 goals scored, 14 conceded in the league. In the Premier League and Champions League, they've scored combined 60 and conceded 16. Alone in both competitions, they have conceded less goals in more games than anyone else. Look at that. In the Champions League and Premier League alone, they've conceded more goals than Man City have conceded just in the league. Like, right now, I don't think it's crazy to say that they are very, very, very likely to make a final or a semi-final at this moment in time. And the last game is against Karat Almaty, in which, let's be honest, they probably will beat them comfortably and make it 8 wins in a row. They are guaranteed now to finish top of the Champions League, and they are guaranteed a home advantage in the last 16, in the semi-finals, and in the quarterfinals. And if Arsenal have been as good at home as they are right now going into the next round, the quarters, the semis, the last 16, I don't see who stops them. I really don't. In terms of the top 10 teams this season in the Champions League, they've beaten Atalanta. They've beaten Atletico Madrid. They've beaten Bayern Munich. They've beaten Chelsea, in the League Cup final and gone to their ground and got a draw. They've beaten Newcastle away from home this season. They drew with Man City. They've already beaten us. The only team in there that have actually got a positive result off of Arsenal in the top 15 teams in all competitions is Liverpool, which was at the very, very beginning of the season. And right now, plus 18 goal difference in the Champions League and plus 20 goal difference in the Premier League, with decent fixtures coming their way. Karat Almaty, Leeds United, Sunderland, Wigan, Manchester United. I don't see a world in which it's out of the realms of possibility that saying they could actually go there and win multiple honours this season. I'm happy to put my neck out on the line. I think they win the League Cup and the Premier League as a bare minimum this season. If they get that League Cup over the line, it's going to be, once you win, it gets addictive. And once you get that taste for silverware, the dominance could be scary for the next few years. Because like I said, there is a lot of rumours going out there that Manchester City could sack maybe not sack, but Pep Guardiola could leave. And you look at their recent results, you look at the potential games they've got coming up they've got to play us, they've got to play Liverpool. Who knows? Could Newcastle United pull something back at the Etihad? It's unlikely. But the way City are playing the last month or so, you wouldn't write it off, would you? Does anyone actually, hand on heart, comfortably believe that Man City will steamroll Wolves? Because they should be steamrolling them. They're bottom of the Premier League. Galatasaray won't be an easy game in the Champions League either, but they should be beating them. They should comfortably come to our ground and beat us because we are at home this season in the Premier League. We've been woeful. And then they've got Newcastle 3 days later, Liverpool 4 days later, and then they've got Wigan, so they've got Fulham, Then they've got a comfortable FA Cup draw. Other than that, though, Newcastle, Leeds United away, West Ham have won a couple of games recently, Chelsea away, Crystal Palace, Arsenal, Burnley, Everton. There's a lot of difficult games coming for a lot of teams this season. And right now, Man City lack that cohesion. They lack the ability to see off games now. Maybe Reinders wasn't the best signing. Maybe they needed an out-and-out, number 8. They've signed more of a 10/second striker. They've done £500 million in the last 12 months. So I don't want to hear any excuses. The fact that Manchester City can't go out there and win trophies this season. They've done £80 million alone in January. If you look at the transfers this current season, they've done 72 million on Anton Semenyo. I'll bring it up on the screen just so you guys can have a read through it as well. They've done 36 million on Cherky, 36 million on Ain't Nuri, 54 million on Reinders, 30 million on Donnarumma, 23 million on Gahey. They've brought in that Nepen Napen from Rosberg, 15 million as well. That's just this. That's just this. This current season. And when you look at current season transfers, if you actually change this and go back to last season as well, and look what they spent there. 75 million on Marmoush, 60 million on Nico Gonzalez, 40 million on Kuzanov, nearly 40 million euros on Victor Reis, 25 million on Savinho. Look what they've done there. Look, I know they get a lot of money for players, but 243 million, right, last summer, and this current season, they're on over 300 million euros. So that's 500 million euros in the last, 12 months, 18 months. If that's Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, Spurs, or Man United, we are getting absolutely crucified. And they've only got 70 million back for players. So they're currently net 231 million. Plus they've put Gahey on a huge contract. He should come in against Wolves, and he should realistically he should go out there and start that game, and they should be beating Wolves comfortably. But for whatever reason, I see some people saying that Semenyo should be starting at striker, maybe drop Erling Haaland. There's a lot of football to be played. Maybe Haaland does get dropped, and that's crazy looking at the amount of goals he has scored this season. But maybe that's what's got to happen to play more fluid football. He missed a couple of chances yesterday. Rodri got sent off yesterday. They don't look anywhere near the level. Yes, he still got 20 goals in 22 games and 150 goals in 177 games, but didn't score against Sunderland in the draw, didn't score against Chelsea, didn't score against Bodo Glimt, didn't score against Manchester United. With Liverpool, Spurs, and Wolves at the moment, yes, they're 5 games unbeaten, but they should be comfortably beating them. It's going to be a very, very interesting situation in the Premier League the next, 3 or 4 weeks, because if they don't go out there and get, when you look at the league table, if they don't get back to winning ways, and let's say they don't beat Wolves by hook or crook, and Arsenal go and beat Manchester United on the Sunday, by the time they play on the Sunday, they would already have known the Manchester City result as well. So if they draw again, let's say they're on 44 and Arsenal go and beat Man City, they could go up to 9 points. And look at their recent results. 1 win in 5 games. And a loss in the Champions League included in there. Let me know your thoughts down below. Make sure you drop a like. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Do you think City have what it takes to claw the gap back? I'm out.